Hey Mac, how are
Hey,
you?
good. How are you?
Good. Had some, we're getting into Ten of Swords soon, so we're actually moving up to 4 comics a week, huh?
Yeah, it was a busy day.
So where
Uh,
do you want to start?
well, I mean, speaking of tennis swords, we might as well just jump in with the whole X-Men universe over there. Let's get started with Excalibur number 12.
Yeah, that makes sense because I read it in the wrong order. Because
Yeah, I was gonna say I did too. Yeah, Apocalypse explains what he did in Excalibur in X-Men number 12, and yeah, so I kind of just wrote it off as something we weren't going to see, and then read the next issue, and oh, there it is. Um, what do you think of Excalibur?
I don't know what I would have thought if I saw it in the right order.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but I feel like there's just a lot going on, and I'm not quite sure I understand. Excalibur, I think, did a better job of explaining what was happening than the X-Men issue did, in my opinion.
Hmm.
But so it's oh, but okay. um, I think I don't know. There's still a lot going on, and I feel like I've read X-Men enough lately to feel like I should know what's going on. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I pretty much the same way. I think X-Men number 12 actually probably gave us a little bit more of a backstory, but this one kind of felt like I didn't really understand. Like you said, there were characters just kind of coming in from everywhere, really. So I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. And yeah, we have been reading. We haven't read every issue in this whole X-Men series
Mhm.
that's been ongoing, but I felt like we had read enough that we should have an idea. This was a little too complex for me. I will say though, I always find Apocalypse to be such a compelling character. He always has this plan going on, and while this issue didn't give us much of an idea as to what his plan really is, um, it it's cool that he has that menacing feel, like oh he has something cooking right now, and we don't know what's going on. So he feels dangerous all the time, and I really got that vibe from this issue.
Yeah, I liked Apocalypse. I felt like he was really Apocalypse. Like I got that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess. Um, well, I mean, if we want to move on to X-Men, um, number 12, there's a lot going on here, and it was like a lot. um, a lot of people battling people, like
Mm-hmm.
5 different realities, and um, in the end, I don't know that all of it was completely necessary. Complexity doesn't make it better if it's and um, I mean, we'll talk about 2 other issues that I think were just like straightforward issues, like
Mm-hmm.
what they're about. And this, I just felt like for being a prelude issue, kind of like an issue that I expect to set up something,
Right.
um, it just wasn't super accessible.
Yeah, this like I said, this felt like a history lesson on a universe that we don't need to know about. And that
Right.
might change, obviously, like you said, it's a prelude to Ten of Swords. So I'm sure Ten of Swords is going to touch on this a little bit more. But really it was just like all this history about, like stuff that we hadn't, we've read a lot of comics in the last
Mhm.
however many months, and it like none of this stuff ever popped up before, and all of a sudden we get all this history on it. So it was a lot to take in at once. I did get some Lord of the Rings vibes from it. I felt
Yeah,
like that kind of story.
but
Um,
then like the appendices,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. So yeah, there was just a lot going on, and I'm hoping Ten of Swords will kind of, I don't want to say flesh it out because I don't want it to make it more complicated, but explain things a little bit more and be a little bit more clear about what's going on.
in Excalibur when it would do like the graph pages, like I felt that was helpful, like because
Yeah.
you
That
almost need
has
like
been,
a guidebook to it. So,
right.
kind of like how Lord of the Rings has the map at the beginning, so you can know where you're going and what's happening. And I feel like the series isn't doing a great job of using its intro pages to really tell you what's happening and to give you enough. I don't need to understand every word in a comic, but I need to know why to care.
Sure.
And I just felt like I wasn't in this issue.
Yeah, even in, I'm not sure which one of these two issues it was in, but one of the guide pages kind of explained the summoner and his abilities, and there were just like numerical values assigned to different things, and I really didn't know what they represented. And again, maybe we'll find out more in the future, but for now, I was left kind of confused.
So, ironically, taking us a little bit more down to earth, or Asgard as the case may be, we have Thor, Thor number 7,
Mhm.
which is pretty cool just in that you can get Tony Stark's phone number.
Yeah, and you can find out some more details about this right now on laughingplace.com. I actually just put this together. Thor plays a little bit of a prank on Tony here and writes Tony's phone number on Mjolnir and sends it down to Earth. And let's just say it goes a little bit farther than just the pages of the comic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It takes you to a phone number, but then takes you to a website. I mean, it's not like some like major lost level like alternate reality game, anything like that. But it is. It was just a nice little moment of levity.
Yeah.
In the issue, and I think Jason Aaron did a good job in this issue. There's some sort of cosmic Marvel kind of stuff, but I felt like it was completely accessible. And to me, it's always good when you get a chance to see Beta Ray Bill. So although they took a sort of a different look to him than I'm used to.
Yeah, he was a little bit scary looking in this one.
Yeah, and so I think that's okay.
Yeah, this was very close to being my pick of the week, and we'll get into why it's not in a little bit. I really enjoyed this issue. I'm excited to see what happens with Thor going forward. As I've said, I've probably said it too many times at this point, but Donny Cates is my favorite writer going right now, and I've really enjoyed what he's doing with Venom and now with Thor as well. Aside from just the Tony Stark phone number gag, this was a good issue. Some stuff going on with Mjolnir that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So yeah, really, really enjoyed this one. Don't really even have anything negative to say about it. I mean, Beta Ray Bill, like I said, is a little bit scary looking, but still. And that's another thing too, though, that brings me back to the X-Men comics. When they suddenly bring in a character, it's okay when it's somebody like Beta Ray Bill, somebody that most Marvel fans are going to be familiar with, at least in some sense. When it becomes some like other characters that are, been in maybe 3 issues before, it gets to be a little bit complicated. But here it worked. So yeah, this was fun, and I'm looking forward to see how this series continues.
I really debated between this and the next comic what was going to be my pick of the week, and this almost won out if it wasn't just, I don't know, just my excitement for where the next one's taking us. So yeah, it was a really close call between Thor and which features Iron Man to
Right.
Iron Man, which features Iron Man. Iron Man number 1.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit a few weeks back, just with the announcement of the series, or I think maybe it was a trailer or something like that. But yeah, this is Christopher Cantwell's new Iron Man series, which was, I think, touted as kind of a reboot. Like it felt like it was going to be like back to Iron Man's origins, and it's not exactly that. It's almost a sort of like a rebirth of the character. Like he's kind of getting back to basics. I really, really enjoyed this issue. I thought for sure going into this one, because I saved this one for last, I thought for sure Thor was going to be my pick of the week. Iron Man number 1 is my pick of the week. Everything about it I thought clicked. It felt very cinematic. The artwork was incredible. I really like the art on this, not only on this amazing cover that you see right now, but in the pages as well. Yeah, I really like this. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Tony's like, everyone loves reinventing Tony Stark because he always has these like crises and then comes back in a new worldview. So I was like, okay, here we go again. But to me, this was really, despite the fact that that kind of concept has been done a bazillion times, it was fresh, and they gave it time to breathe. It wasn't linear necessarily in terms of his emotions, but you didn't feel like he was going from one to another. And the art is fantastic, and you don't know what's happening. You don't even know what's being set up. Something's being set up, but it's okay because you just enjoyed being around the characterization. And I really enjoyed this comic. A lot of times we focus on like what's new, what's the event comic, because we pick 3 or 4 a week, and there's more comics, so we need to pick what's newsworthy. But Iron Man is even if it's not one of our picks of the week, in terms of ones that we're going to review, I'm still going to keep reading the series to see where it's going to go.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's also really nice too that this was essentially after reading the 2 X-Men comics, this was the exact opposite, right? This is something that anybody with even like a little bit of a working knowledge of the character could pick up this comic and have it be the first comic they've ever read and really get into that story, which was really cool. There was nothing popped up in this one where I was like, I don't understand what's going on here. Brand new story, but still had some nods, not really nods. I mean, just like kind of fan service for real, like big time Marvel fans in there. Patsy Walker showing up was a really cool one. Tarax is even shows up in it briefly. So yeah, some really cool stuff in this issue. And like you said, I can't get enough of this art. I really, really enjoyed the look of this whole issue.
Yeah, great jumping on comic if you're trying to get in comics post-pandemic. It's, yeah, as you said, like, I mean, it has Marvel Universe stuff in it, but you can pick up on what that is, just in passing, or you don't even need to. It just adds a layer of enjoyment to it. It's not it's a very, I don't want to say easy read because that implies like it's simple, which it's not, but it's a fun read. Like you're not looking and be like, how much more my brain's going to take, in the next 32 pages.
Yeah, you don't find yourself flipping back a few pages to say like, wait, what happened here? What did they say?
Yeah.
Like Patsy Walker, I know isn't a huge Marvel name, but he even introduces her like, oh, Patsy Walker. It's nice to see a familiar face. Like you get the context that you need very quickly, and it's easy to just keep on going. So yeah, really one of my favorite comics in a while. Actually, really enjoy this one.
Cool. So what's next?
So let's get into some news from the past week. Just coming out today, actually, we found out WandaVision is still slated for a late 2020 release. That was kind of surprising, given that Falcon and the Winter Soldier has already been delayed. So now they've switched up the order on things. I'm excited. I wasn't expecting to get this year, and now it looks like we are. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because a lot of times in the MCU, there's reasons things come out when they come out, or and obviously this was always sort of billed as leading into the next Doctor Strange film.
Mm-hmm.
So but you never knew what would need to set this up or whatever. So it's pretty clear that at least in its current version, who knows what the original plan was that Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Black Widow wouldn't need to set up WandaVision. It's essentially still coming out when it was supposed to, but I saw some stuff online with Black Widow sort of being in flux about like how that could impact Falcon and Winter Soldier, and that there's a belief out there, I don't know if it's legit or not, that they're intertwined a little bit, and so you can't have Falcon and Winter Soldier till after Black Widow's released. Don't know if that's true. Don't know if they'll make adjustments to detach themselves a little bit, but I am excited, because we're going to probably have November, early December for Mandalorian. So it'd be nice to get WandaVision and sort of keep that energy going.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have Disney Plus every Friday be appointment TV again. Going back with Mandalorian and WandaVision coming out.
Not that it's not all the time, even when it's Secret Society, Second Burner House.
Right. That's very true. Yeah. Yeah. So real quick before I move on to Guardians of the Galaxy, I just wanted to say I was curious. What do you think? So is this going to happen before Black Widow? Now, are we going to get WandaVision before we get Black Widow? Because it seems
like it.
Yeah, it seemed for a while like Black Widow was definitely the next step in the MCU. Now it looks like we have a different one. So that's interesting to see how that shakes things up. All right. So as you can see, Guardians of the Galaxy was in the news as well. It'll be making its broadcast debut on ABC via the Wonderful World of Disney. And that was next Wednesday, I believe, September 23rd. So that'll be cool. Guardians of the Galaxy, one of my favorite MCU films. I don't know about you.
Yeah, and obviously, we can all watch this on Disney Plus with no commercials and all that. But it wasn't part of Wonderful World of Disney, but we recently saw Black Panther on ABC. It's a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, and I'm curious to see. Not, on a happier note, if they'll use this opportunity to maybe debut a trailer for something, or, it's interesting. It goes from 8 to 10:30, so there's a half-hour block at 10:30 to 11, where I guess they could always just put in a Modern Family rerun, but I also kind of wonder if they'll do something special with that too, because they tend to like to do. Back when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was on, they would have like a Marvel movie followed by Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Right. So I'm kind of curious if they'll find some way to kind of make it a Marvel night. But to me, I watch Wonderful World of Disney, even though I can watch these commercial free all the time, just because it brings back memories of watching Wonderful World of Disney. So I'll probably be checking this out.
Yeah, it feels special to watch it that way. It adds a little, some sort of like nostalgic magic.
Yeah. So did you want to stay on the quasi television side?
Yeah, there we go. She-Hulk also came up. I believe it was yesterday. They announced. I'm probably going to butcher the last name. Kat Coiro has reportedly been tapped to direct several episodes of the She-Hulk series coming to Disney Plus, including the pilot episode. So looks like she will be, and she is also, I believe, executive producing the series. So it looks like she'll have a big hand in creating this new series. I'm excited for this one. I say it all the time. I'm excited for every Marvel project that's going on, but this is a really cool character that I'm excited to see added to the MCU.
They, one of my earliest Marvel memories was the Hulk series, and obviously Hulk has been done in the MCU on a theatrical level, so it'd be nice that the Hulk character and She-Hulk, which I think is much better for television because she can talk. Pre Endgame. Right. I'm looking forward to seeing sort of like a weird Law and Order / superhero show. This has been rumored as a television production forever, ever since like the initial Jeff Loeb programming slate. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I was always waiting for Jennifer Walters to show up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and unfortunately never got that. We also know Mark Ruffalo was in talks at least to be in the series. So that's a cool tie-in as well. So definitely looking forward to that.
Sticking with the MCU.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors has reportedly been cast in Ant-Man 3, which is cool news. He's a great actor. If anybody's seen the Lovecraft Country show on HBO right now, he's fantastic. But the bigger story here for Marvel fans, at least, is that he is rumored to be playing Kang the Conqueror, which, is potentially huge. Like, that's maybe the next Thanos in the MCU. So that's very exciting. A really cool character. Could be the gateway to bring in the Fantastic Four. So much could potentially happen there. Kang, if you don't know, is a time-traveling villain, which makes sense that he would appear in Ant-Man as he was the first one to time travel in the MCU. So, looks like there's some, heat behind that rumor a little bit, at least. I'm excited. If that's the case, I'm very excited to see Kang show up in the MCU.
Yeah, to me, it's just funny that I never thought he would debut in Ant-Man. Because Ant-Man has typically been a little bit more of a, heist kind of low level. Not low level sounds bad, but
physically he is very low level.
Right, yeah. And I was gonna say small scale, but then that just comes across as a pun. But you know what I mean? Like he's not, Thor battling across
Well,
Alex.
especially Scott Lang. Like even
Yeah.
Hank Pym was even a bigger player in the comics, at least. Scott Lang is, like you said, more of that grounded sort of thing. But I would guess Kang wouldn't be the if he is in fact playing Kang. I would guess he's not the villain of Ant-Man 3. He's probably just going to show up in a post-credit scene or something like that. Would be my guess.
Good point. I never thought about that. But, you know, as I always say, in Kevin Feige, we trust.
Exactly.
So we're starting to get some of our December comics announced. So we got some. I mean, just to be clear, Marvel's does this thing where like they'll restart the numbering back to 1 when there's a new storyline, but then when it's in milestone anniversary, so then they'll pop up as like, you know, issue 650 or whatever. So they're doing this with Wolverine number 350.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought this was a very funny headline going around that Marvel is celebrating the 350th issue of Wolverine with Wolverine number 8. And it just kind of perfectly sums up how confusing comics can be sometimes. But really, yeah, like you said, it's the 350th different individual or solo story for Wolverine, but it's the 8th in this ongoing series. And just from looking at look at that cover there, they're teasing one, the return of Maverick, and 2, just like sort of Wolverine getting back into his past a little bit while still progressing the story forward, which sounds like a lot of fun. Wolverine, of course, being a character, you know, very rooted in his, I mean, kind of sounds weird to say a character is rooted in their own past, but Wolverine is very much that kind of character.
So he's kind of like Apocalypse. I feel like his past gets longer than his future does.
Yeah, very true. So yeah, looking forward to this one for sure. And it's an oversized issue, so who knows how many pages this one will be, but it'll be fun.
It takes place after Ten of Swords, so
yeah.
After kind of a fresh start. Speaking of after Ten of Swords,
Vita Ayala and Rod Reese will be taking over New Mutants in December. I really like that the lineup of this New Mutants team is very similar to the one we just saw in the movie. So I'm excited to get more. Specifically, I'm excited to get more of Magic. I've been saying it over the last few weeks. Magic is becoming one of my favorite characters. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I agree, and it looks fun. Like, I don't know. I mean, we just talked about the X-Men books this week. Like, I'm guessing after Ten of Swords, I'll be ready for fun.
Yeah, this definitely looks like a more lighthearted kind of corner of that X-Men universe.
Speaking of what's hopefully fun, well, it's Champions #1.
Yeah, Champions #1. We talked about this one a long time ago. It feels like when they first announced the new series, the new Outlawed story going on, and they released one of their still trailers for the new series, and this is coming out next month. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. We've touched on Outlawed a little bit with like Miles Morales and stuff like that, and I've compared it to Civil War, which I've said is my favorite crossover event ever. So I'm really looking forward to really digging into to this. This should be fun.
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't want to go there, but it's a we go, they're Teen Titans, and it's just, as I said, I mean, I don't say lighthearted because the stakes are real for them, but there's something neat about seeing the Marvel universe from a younger perspective. I mean, that's what made Peter Parker so iconic. But so I've enjoyed the current Miles Morales run, so to speak, and I mean, Ms. Marvel's is getting a lot of attention through the Avengers game. So I think this should be it's hitting at the right time, I think.
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up. I was just going to say, with Kamala Khan being on the cover there, it is cool to see her really stepping into the spotlight with that Marvel's Avengers game that just came out. And obviously she has a series as well coming to Disney Plus. So very cool character that I hope a lot of fans or a lot of people become fans of in the near future.
And finally, moving ahead to January, we got Children, I guess off delayed, Children of the Atom.
Yeah, another corner of that X-Men universe there. Yeah, so like you said, this one's coming in January. Who knows where the X-Men series branches off to after Ten of Swords, but Children of the Atom has kind of been a I mean, Children of the Atom has been a building block of the X-Men stories from the beginning. So, yeah, I think that should be pretty cool to see.
And if Champions are the sort of young Avengers, not the young Avengers, but the
Right.
Teen Titans of the Avengers, this is that for the X-Men. They're
Right.
former sidekicks, kind of young characters, but taking it from their perspective. So yeah, it's as I said, it looks like it might take more of the fun part of the X-Men universe. So I'm all for that at this point.
Yeah, definitely agree.
So anything you want to share before we wrap up?
Well, I wanted to ask you, have you gotten a chance to really get into Marvel's Avengers yet?
Nope. I played the beta for 2 weekends, and then I got my shipment was delayed for whatever reason. So I got it, and then we were out of town. So it's actually on my plate for tonight. I'll probably spend tonight downloading whatever patches, but then play the game. Hopefully soon, because I had so much fun with the beta, but I kind of have to start over now because it's not the beta anymore. So I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully we can talk about it next week.
Yeah, so Kyle and I talked about it a little bit last week, and at that time, I was really enjoying it. The story is fantastic, and the story is so good. I mean, you could put this in a Marvel movie tomorrow. I was playing it again a little bit more since then, and I think this game is just very, very complicated. There's just so many little pieces of it that kind of pushes me away from it a little bit. But the story is so good, and if you just stick to the bare bones, just go from one mission to the next, it's really a fun game. So definitely recommend checking at least that part of it out. If you're a big Marvel fan, you'll enjoy, at least, like I said, just that main campaign portion of the game.
Yeah, I think I've seen people. After you're done with that, I think there's more to do, but.
Oh yeah, there's so much more. There's a lot.
Yeah, but my goal is there's so much weekly content and all this stuff. I'm like, I can't focus. Like, I just need to get through this main mission and main campaign, and then I can go play around and enjoy the fringes or whatever it is, expansions and stuff. But I'm so excited about the main story just from the beta that I just want to get through that. It sounds terrible, but I want to play, enjoy it, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing what you think next week.
Yeah, hopefully have time. It's too much. It's like we went from nothing happening to everything happening.
Yeah, so, just feels like that's how it goes these days.
Okay, well, thanks so much, Mac. We will talk next week.
Yeah, thanks. See you then. Bye, everyone.